Welcome everyone, Dr. Mandell here with you. Hopefully you're having a pleasant day or night, regardless of where you are worldwide. This topic tonight, we are streaming live worldwide, and we are going to talk about anxiety and how to conquer this serious issue that is seen by the millions worldwide. Just not by the thousands, but by the millions, because this particular condition affects many other physical ailments that you're having, like fibromyalgia, headaches, migraines, back pain, neck pain. Many conditions like chronic arthritis, osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, all have a significant play when it comes down to anxiety. Now, I'm going to go over some important things about the physiological effects. I'm going to tell you some ways that you can conquer this, give you a better understanding about what anxiety is all about. I'm going to talk a little bit about the subconscious mind. I'm reprogramming these positive affirmations. This is a very complex subject, although I'm going to try to keep it very simple, and I'm going to move through it real quick. Now, here's a person, obviously, pain. Pain brings anxiety, and anxiety brings pain. It's a two-way street. So the direction of where you're going, the result is the same. So the first thing I want to talk about here, very simple, is the old cucumber. We are made up of 80%, really 60% water, 65%. But if you look at the human body, they say it's 80%. This is just something I came across. So if the human body is 80%, so we're basically just cucumbers with anxiety. That number should really be a little bit lower. I pulled that off the net. I thought that was cute. Okay, let's go right into our topic here. And I want to start out with this particular chart right here, symptoms of anxiety. Let me just briefly, and I would love for you to come back to these charts later on your own. I'm just going to briefly go through it. There are many different ways of exhibiting anxiety, just not from pain. Realize that anxiety will cause pain, and we'll talk about that, but this comes from post-traumatic stress, from social phobias, depressing or depressive disorders, panic disorders, simple phobias like you may fear flying in a plane, going up an elevator, fear speaking in front of somebody, having tension, having low self-esteem, difficulty being around people, being around crowds, having a real low, just a low self-esteem about yourself, feeling like you're not good enough. You may be irritable. You may not have a lot of patience. For example, you may text somebody and wait, where's my text? Where's my text? How come you're not responding back? That is a disorder. It's an anxiety disorder because you're nervous and you're creating things because you're used to doing things certain ways. So we want to try to break these anxieties, these disorders. So you can just look at that chart. That's a great chart right here. I'd like you to really go through that whole entire chart on your own. Here is something that just shows you common symptoms of anxiety in all of these, anywhere from tinnitus, from chest pressure, from feeling like you're having a heart attack, to burning skin, to palpitations, to deep breaths, to increased blood pressure, to nausea, to racing hearts. This is a great chart. And the reason why I wanted to share this is because when you understand these symptoms, it's easier to get well because you don't fear the symptoms anymore. And part of anxiety, a big part of anxiety, is the fear. False evidence appearing real, FEAR. So in other words, you are creating things and living in those experiences that they're real. And a lot of these are not real. So that's what I'm going to try to get your mind to fight these things, to be able to conquer this, because a lot of it can be here rather than anywhere else. Now, we don't want to put off anxiety and leave it Because I would always tell you, as well as everyone else, follow up with a doctor or get evaluated with a social worker or a psychologist or a hypnotist or a social counselor or someone you can talk to, because a lot of anxieties live in here. And sometimes when we don't get it out, it just continues to grow with us. And a lot of anxieties can come from your own family, from your spouse, from your children, of stress that builds up, because there's a direct correlation between anxiety and stress and the physiological effects that take place, which I'm about to show you. This is where a lot of these symptoms start to manifest. So obviously, the most common types of anxiety are your fear, taking deep breath, your dizziness, difficulty like swallowing, palpitations, a rapid heartbeat. You feel like irritable, difficulty resting, lots of muscle contraction, lots of muscle tension. And muscles tense up here, causes headaches. They tense up here, you have lots of pain. It becomes a whole vicious cycle. So, a lot of the thousands of people who are subscribers to my channel, most of them have pain. So now if you have anxiety on top of that pain, it intensifies it. You see, I have found that most people with fibromyalgia, quote, fibromyalgia, have anxieties. And most people with a lot of pain have anxieties. And that's why these pains become chronic. So if we can work on a source to allow the enkephalons, the endorphins, to be secreted from the brain to relax muscles, to increase these particular hormones, to allow us to feel light, to feel relaxed, and to feel at peace, the muscles are going to feel more at peace. You're going to have less pain, because the more tugging, the more pulling, the more pain. This takes us to a vicious cycle of anxiety. And if we look here, we have a short-term anxiety and a long-term. Short-term anxiety is okay. That's a stress response. The fight or flight, the sympathetic nervous system secretes adrenaline. And I'm going to talk about that in just a second. But your adrenaline response releases sugars, and we get an insulin response. And obviously, when you have more insulin floating around in your bloodstream, because remember, when you're under stress, your body's thinking of survival. And I'm going to give you a good analogy. A good analogy is you're in the middle of a woods, and all of a sudden you see a bear or a lion. Well, guess what? Boom, your adrenaline's pumping, your cortisol's pumping, because you need that energy. So the energy got to come from sugar. So the sugar is broken down from the liver and from the muscle cells. And that sugar comes out into the blood. So therefore it knocks at the pancreas. The pancreas secretes insulin. The insulin says, okay, we got to get this sugar into the cells to get energy so we can run. But that's okay if it's short-lived. But if it's always trickling, and you've got this release of sugar and release of insulin, and insulin has a direct correlation with inflammation, and inflammation has a direct correlation with pain, you can kind of see the whole progressive chart here. So you can look at this, and so basically most people who have anxiety is thinking danger. They're thinking fear. They're thinking that something in their life is going to happen that's bad. So this is where we want to take that fear, that false evidence appearing real, and trying to get that out of the conscious brain and try to get the subconscious brain to start working the way it always has before you develop this particular problem. That anxiety, you weren't born with anxiety. You developed anxiety. You developed anxiety through experiences in your life that became repetitive, that became a part of you. And even though your mind is saying, well, I can do it, but your subconscious is throwing that adrenaline or throwing that high cortisol out or throwing those hormones out into your bloodstream, because maybe you walk into a large room, or you're fearful now of going into a large room because when you went in there, you felt dizzy. You felt this rapid heartbeat. You felt you were choking. You felt like you were having a heart attack. When these symptoms come, you worry about it. Let me tell you something. I've been there. I know what it's like. It's horrible. It's a horrible feeling. You feel like you're gonna just keel over, and it's scary. And the majority of people who go to hospitals with chest pain is anxieties. It's not heart attacks, it's anxiety. So let's move up the ladder here. We'll talk about the stress hormones. These stress hormones that we're talking about, the adrenaline, norepinephrine, cortisol, increases heart rate, increases blood sugar, will make you become type 2 diabetic. It increases the blood flow, obviously, to the skeletal muscles. Skeletal muscles becomes contracted. They become tight. Our breathing rate increases. Our pupils dilate. Of course our pupils dilate because we have to keen in. We have to survive. Remember that these stress hormones, we're in a mode of survival now. You're not supposed to be in a mode of survival when you're at home relaxing in your bed. Your parasympathetic system is a system that relaxes you. Your sympathetic system is kicking in. It just won't stop. So these hormones are just going chaotic in your body. Your heart keeps racing. It starts jumping. Arrhythmias start to boom, 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 boom. And you feel like you're sweating. You feel like you can't concentrate. You feel like you're fainting. You feel like you're sweating. You feel like nothing feels right. You feel horrible because of this stress hormone. So let's move up to the effects of stress. And again, this is a little bit more, tells you a little bit about the stomach, digestion, clotting, increase the heart rate, respiration. You can see how actually your immune system becomes weaker because more cortisol. This increases cholesterol and fatty acids in the blood, obviously, and increases your blood pressure. You can go ahead and read this later. So here's another chart, the effects. You can go back to this chart as well. But stress will increase diabetes. Stress will increase heartburn, gastric reflux, palpitations. It will affect your energy. It will just take the energy out of you and just make you feel like, wow, I just feel beat all the time. So a lot of people out there who eat well and sleep well, you're walking around fatigued because you got these stress hormones just running through your system, beating you up. And we need to put a stop to that because it's not healthy. So, very common. I mean, males, you can't get it up or nothing happens. You don't work right. You become impotent because of stress hormones. Females, you may have no mood. You may have no desire to be with your man or whatever you want to do, or it just doesn't work because these reproductive organs do not work well when you have stress hormones that are just being chaotic in your system. Let's go back to the relaxation response here. We can see that there are two areas here. We have the relaxation response, which obviously does all the good things. You see where it says normal libido? Digestion improves. Your blood pressure lowers. Your heart rate lowers. That's good. And everything's the opposite. Look at the stress response on the right. Heart rate increases. Blood pressure. Cholesterol goes up. Cholesterol is not from eggs. It's not from the yolks. It's not from the saturated fats between you and I think it's a bunch of crock, and it's not from coconut oil because coconut oil is good for you. It's from stress. Stress affects you chemically. It throws off the whole metabolism of the liver. The liver is what controls cholesterol. It just throws off the whole liver enzymes. It throws it all off. It makes your sleep go crazy. It makes you wake up like every half hour. It just makes you crazy. We got to get away from the stress response. Now, you're talking to someone, you're looking at someone who's had this bad. When I was going through school many years back, I had these problems. But you know what? I learned how to control it, and I'm going to share a few of these things with you. So you can see that stress affects the body, the mind, behavior, emotions. Yeah, it will make you depressed because you don't feel well. You may feel like you're lonely because sexually you don't work well. You can feel like maybe, you have no appetite. You don't want to be around people. You have nightmares. You just feel irritable. And you get these muscle twitches. And yeah, it can come from magnesium. It can come from imbalance of electrolytes. But stress is a big one. All right? So we want to uninstall anxiety. And this is the part that I want to bring you out to a few things. And I have a couple notes I didn't want to leave out. This is why we're here. We want to uninstall it. We want to get rid of it. How? How can we uninstall anxiety? First of all, realize that anxiety comes from, as we said, something that's been implanted in your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind, you have no control over. You only have control over your conscious mind. Your subconscious mind is awake in 24 hours. When you sleep, your subconscious mind still awakes, but your conscious mind sleeps. Your conscious mind only works when you're awake. Realize that. Okay? So, your subconscious mind has a tape recorder going on. with you all the time. The words that you're saying. Oh, I feel dizzy. I feel horrible. I got to go to the hospital. I'm dying. Oh, I don't feel good. Well, your subconscious mind keeps hearing this all the time. It's recording it on tape inside your subconscious brain. And so it's not hearing things like, I'm getting well. I'm in the process of healing. Every day I feel great. Every day I feel better and better. You see, these are the words that we need to try to take away the negative words and put the positive words back in, because these subconscious mind are the things, for example, when I was in school and I would walk into a big supermarket, always in the afternoon, I knew ahead of time from my experiences, when I walk in that supermarket, I'm going to start getting these palpitations and I'm going to start getting dizzy. And it happened all the time. I'd walk in there, I would be afraid to go shopping in a supermarket and buy food. And that's pretty sad. And it's pretty depressing. But I realize that this was just a symptom. So I'm going to tell everyone out there, every person who listens to this video, as well as my chatters right here, go to a doctor and get evaluated. Get your blood work done, get your heart checked, get checked out, and I want that doctor to give you clearance to tell you in your ear that you're healthy. That's number one. That's the first thing you need to do. I don't want you to be the victim. I want you to get examined. I want you to be in your mind that you know that your doctor told you you're healthy. And that's what I needed to hear, because I'm feeling symptoms, but I'm healthy. But these symptoms aren't going to kill me, but eventually they will if I don't take care of them. And that's what I don't want happen to you or you or you or you or anyone else. I don't want these hormones in your body, these stress hormones, wearing your body out, weakening your immune system, and making you sick. So let's talk about a couple of things. The first thing I can tell you that I know a lot of people who go through anxiety, they're put on Valium, they're put on all types of antidepressants, and I'm not going to go ahead and I'm not going to even talk about that route, because I am a natural provider, physician, and I will tell you that medicine may be needed at certain times, but the majority of medicine in this world is not needed. I can just tell you from experience. There's many different complementary alternative things you can do, from yoga to walking to exercise to meditation, as well as going to sleep at the right time, getting enough sleep. Because if you're not getting enough sleep, it's going to affect your healing. It's going to increase cortisol levels. It's going to increase inflammation. Inflammation will increase pain, and pain will increase anxiety. All right, there's a direct relationship between lack of sleep and pain. I just did a recent video on that. You can go to my channel and you can see that. But nutrition, I want you to get away from these inflammatory foods. All these omega-6s, a lot of the grains, you can just type in inflammatory foods and start getting on the fruits and vegetables. Start adding more omega-3s in your diet. Add some curcumin, the turmeric, and start adding the real good nutritious foods. A lot of the chlorophylls, your spirulinas, your greens. Keep your system alkaline. Hydrate yourself, but you must get sleep. Don't think that you just can do everything without sleep. Sleep's really important. There's a few things that I want to go into that I'm going to talk about meditation. Something that helped me, starting to take deep breaths. I don't care how you do it. There's many different ways. There's Herbert Benson relaxation response. You can breathe in through the nose, out the mouth. There's different techniques on breathing. I'm not going to talk about which one is better than the other, but deep breathing will slow your whole entire system up, will increase the parasympathetic system. Take time every day, about 10 minutes. Breathe through the nose, out of the mouth, and just practice. And if you have a hard time doing it, just say number 2 every time you blow out. Or pick a name that you like that may be therapeutic for you. But start breathing. That will slow your system down, because I want you to get the feeling what it's like to calm down. Because a lot of us live in a high speed, like we're working overtime, and we don't stop. So the first thing I want you to do is get the feeling of calming down. Know what your body feels like and get the feeling. That's part of meditation, because once you start winding down, guess what? You can go right back to your breath, no matter where you are, and say, oh, hold it. In about 3 or 4 breaths, you just went right back down to where you are because you've already trained your brain how to do it. So you must learn how to breathe properly because that's going to help slow your system down. When you're anxious and you know that you're getting these palpitations or you're sweating or you get this rapid heartbeat and you've already know you're healthy, you need to learn to accept it. Accepting things is critical. And I cannot stress that. Accept it. It takes 21 days to retrain your subconscious mind. And don't feed in to your anxiousness or to your symptoms or to your palpitations or to your rapid heartbeat. I want you just to say, okay, go do your thing. Do your thing. You need to be strong. You need to stand up. You need to fight for yourself. Don't let these symptoms take over because they will. You need to say, I had enough. Okay, do it. Guess what? Every day you start to do this, you're going to realize, your conscious mind is going to realize, hey, it's not killing me. It's not hurting me. It's not doing anything that I originally thought it's going to do to me. It's not doing it. Guess what? You're going to get well that way. That's what got me well. I had to accept it. And this thing went on for weeks. And I said, you know what? Go, take it. Do what you have to do. Sweat it. I just accepted it because I already knew I was healthy. I've been examined. I had my heart checked. I had my blood work done. I did what I had to do. And that's where I'm trying to go with all my listeners out there. Do what you need to do and eliminate the fears, that false evidence appearing real. Realize that your brain will play tricks on you. Your brain will find ways on playing tricks on you. So let it play tricks on you. Eventually, it's going to stop. Because once the subconscious mind is stopped programming, you're not programming it anymore with, oh my God, I'm going to die. Call an ambulance. I can't do this. I fear this. I'm not going there. Once you stop doing that, your subconscious mind is recording this. And one day you're going to wake up and you're going to say, oh my God, I can live my life happy again. And guess what's going to happen? Your muscle pain and your aches and your arthritises and your fibromyalgias are going to start to feel much better. I promise you they're going to feel better because stress will intensify the weak link, which is your inflammatory problem. Anytime you have inflammation in your body, it's a cause of pain, and pain causes anxiety. But when you grasp that anxiety and you are able to control it, your pain starts to diminish, and I mean really diminish. So I want you to use visualization. Get into parts of your day where you're just thinking about beautiful things, doing good things, maybe helping people in your mind, even if you're not helping them. Take time out of your life and help people. Get out and start doing good things for other people because that's the reward of healing. When you help people, or maybe donate your time to the elderly, or donate your time to the homeless, or donate your time to the sick children, cancer children, leukemia, and you want to give time to spend time with them and give love, that's healing. That's going to help your anxiety because you're putting something good out into the world, and that it's just a boomerang that's making its way back into your life. It's a vicious cycle. It's a universal law. Use positive talk. Watch your words. Get out of that stuff of I'm dying, or I'm sick, or it's happening again, or I can't do it. Just let it happen. Let it happen. Think about a week, a month, a year ago, you're still here. Nothing's happened after you worried about it. Imagine what's going to happen when you stop worrying about it. Focus on the now. When you start focusing on the now, that is the way to live your life. Not about what happened yesterday. Not about what happens or what's going to happen tomorrow. Right now. This is your life. This is the fun part of living. Because guess what? When you start working on the now, and you talk about Eckhart Tolle, a lot of these great authors out there, they are fascinating because they believe in living in the now. And I believe it too, because when you live in the now, you can't worry about a minute from now. You can't worry about a minute before now. You're only concerned about now. And that's what you really need to work on. So there's a lot of good sources you can look at when it comes to that. But you really need to focus on meaningful activities. A lot of people who have anxiety don't have hobbies, don't do things constructive, spend a lot of time. And this is one thing I really hope you take at heart, because this is probably one of the most important things. One of the most important things you can do is don't Google stress, anxiety, symptoms, heart palpitations, and don't dwell into your symptoms. I've done it. Don't do it. Let it be. The reason why we have professionals out there is that they're trained to help you, your health. You're not a physician. So get professional help. Get clearance. Don't dwell into all these symptoms. The more you dwell into it, the more you program the subconscious mind, and the more those symptoms last a lot longer. And you can't afford that. I really hope this information gave you some insight. Please go back to, yes, one other thing, and you took it. Thank you, chatters. Caffeine, alcohol, anything that has stimulants, Coca-Cola, teas. Get away from all those stimulants. Thank you very much, old school warrior. That was very important because that was one of my main things that I had on the charts here, and I can't find it, but that is so important. Get rid of those stimulants. So important. Thank you very much. Anyways, I hope that this made a big difference in how you feel right now. It should make you feel better. I'm there. Trust me. I'm telling you from experience. I was there a long time. I went to psychologists. I went to psychiatrists. I was on not antidepressants. I was on Valium. I've done this when I was in school. I couldn't wait to finish school. I couldn't wait to get out of that environment. But guess what? I attributed a lot of these problems. But in order to get through it, I did what I'm telling you. And it works because I am one who experienced it, and I am one who've persevered this problem. And I know that you can too. Trust me when I tell you. So anyways, I hope that you will share this video. I ask you, please share it. Subscribe if you haven't. Check out my channel. Many great self-help videos, cutting edge nutrition. Check me out on Facebook, Motivational Doc. But most important, I have a lot of warm heart feelings towards all of you who goes through anxiety. I know what it's like, but I can tell you one thing right now. Go get examined if you haven't. If you had, I'm sure many of you have, and I'm sure you've been cleared. Your blood works good. Many of you might have gone to the hospital thinking you were having a heart attack, and they said, no, it's just anxiety. So I love when the doctors can tell you it's just anxiety, because anxiety is not going to kill you. I promise anxiety won't kill you. But don't make yourself crazy. You'll get well if you do the right things. Don't dwell on it. Let it happen. Let the symptoms go on. Laugh at it. Smile at it. Go out. Enjoy your life. Run. You can still drink. Go out. Get drunk once in a while. Have fun. Enjoy your life. I love every one of you. We'll be back with you real soon. Blessings to all your family. Bye-bye now.